Amen. So continuing with the Maimon Likuti Torah, which starts with the word Hine Avrohom, or Sechel Nelam. Parshas lech lecha. וזהו עניין פרשה זו, ואומר השם אל אברהם, שירד ומשתמש ממך גילו כדי להסתיקנו ביהו. This is the meaning, this is the substance of the verse. Hashem says to Avram, lech lecha. Yeridas bechinas Avram, meaning Avram is descending, the level of Avram is descending lamata, to the world. And what is the purpose of this descent? What is the purpose of the revelation? Is tikkun uviru nitzaisis, is to refine and to sort out the sparks. Ki'ad Avram, up to Avram Avinu, up to Avram Avinu, there was the breakage of the vessel, the generation of the flood. From Avram Avinu and on, starts the world of tikkun. That's why it says in the Midrash that there was generation, there was anger Hashem. When it comes to the time of Avram Avinu enters the world, we start with lech lecha. What does it mean? We start with lech lecha, we start with repair. Time of tikkun. It speaks about Kabbalistically, is the name 45, the name of Avaya, that it's in Gematria of Yud K Vav K, it's the Yud Vav Dalet, and Hey Aleph. Hey Aleph Vav Vav Hey Aleph. It's the name of Ma 45, and that's the name that is associated with Biru, with elevation. But the point is that from Avram Avinu starts the seder, the order of Tikkun. What's the idea of Tikkun? Is to actually engage in the godly, holy sparks and to tap into them and elevate them. וצריכה להיות ירידה אחר ירידה מאברהם בחינת יסוד אבא עד אל אז בחינת מלכות. So in order for us to do our job, which is לתקן, לברר, to tap into, to repair, to refine, to elevate, we need, especially when you're dealing with the world, so you have to come down from Avraham. You can't stay Avraham and elevate. You have to go down to, as we say, boots in the ground. And have to be alaretz. You have to go down to the land. You can't stay in your level. You have to come down to Malchut in order to elevate. Asher areka. Then the pasuk says, "I will show you." What does it mean? So pirush areh ve'agaleh otcha ba'atzmecha. I'm going to reveal you yourself. That's Hashem is telling Avraham Avinu, meaning. כלומר, שאתה תבוא לידי התגלות במצוות המילה. You are going to be revealed, you yourself, through the mitzvah of milah, of circumcision. וישמך אברהם, אב המון גויים. And not only that, we're going to add the letter Hey to your name, which would mean that you're going to be Av Hamon Goim, which means you're going to be a father of many nations. And not only that you are able to elevate the world, but you also elevate the goyim. You can elevate over here goyim means not only Gentiles, but it also means holy sparks that are hidden in physical things. You're able to convert them also to Kedusha. So by Avram Avinu doing his bris is having now an added power that he can deal with the sparks that are even embedded in Klippo. So seemingly it's not aliyah, it's not elevation, it's not ascent, it's descent. Why? Because now Avraham Avinu has to deal with the physical. He has to deal, Hashem is sending him to start the tikkun in the world. As we said, the generations before Machisinu Vain, they were all angering Hashem. But now, he has to do tikkun. Avraham Avinu is the one in charge of starting a new style, new type of a world. So seemingly, to be Avram, as we said before, that Av is Chokhmah and Ram is referring to levels that are above revelation. And now you're adding the Hey to his name, he has to come down. Seemingly it's Yeridah. And not only that, Hashem says, V'lo yikare od shimcha. Your name is not going to be called anymore Avram without the Hey, and it's going to be with the Hey. So we have to see if it's descent or ascent for Avram himself. אך העניין, מה שנתווסף לו ה' הוא ה' עילה. ובזוהר איתר, גבי ועבד הלוי הוא, או ועובד הלוי הוא דו עתיק, או שהתגלות עתיק ובבינה דווקא ולא בחוכמה. Okay, so he says like this. In the name of Hashem, name of Avaya, Yud and Hey and Vav and Hey, you have two Heys. The first Hey and the second Hey. So the first Hey is called the upper Hey. The last Hey is the lower Hey. Which Hey was given to Avraham Avinu? So he says Avraham Avinu got Heilah. That's what it says in the Zohar. The A, the Hey, the letter Hey that was added to the name Avraham shows on the level of Binah, right? Because Yud is Chokhmah and Hey is Binah. But it's the first Hey. Heilah, that's what was given, this is the Hey that was given to Avraham Avinu. So Avraham by himself is Av, he's Chokhmah. But what is he getting now? The Hey, he's getting also Binah. So now Chokhmah by itself is almost worthless. Why? Because you can't use it. It's so condensed, it's in your mind, but it's not something you can express. So when Hashem is giving him Binah, now he can use it. Now he has the puzzle is completed. What's the connection then? He says, the Pasuk in Parashat Korach, Avada Levihu, connection. So he says, the Zohar interpret the Pasuk, Avada Levihu, that the word Hu is referring to Atik. What is Atik? Atik is a Keter, right? And within Keter is the inner level of Keter, right? So we have Chokhmah. What is higher than Chokhmah? Is the Ratzon. Why do we do things? Why our mind works? Our mind is being used to get what we want. So what we want is really higher than everything else, the Ratzon. In Kabbalah, the Ratzon is called Keter. Okay, so within the Keter, you have Atik and Arich. You have the inner Keter and the outer Keter. Let's call it, let's say I have a crown on my head. There's the outer ones, and there's what's inside the Keter. Okay? So, he says the Idgalut Atik, where the Keter, the Ratzon, is manifested the most? Not in Chokhmah, rather in Binah. And it makes sense, because Chokhmah is very limited, meaning it could be great, but it cannot be expressed. It's condensed. Everything is limited. So where do you really see the Ratzon of the Keter? Where do you find what the Keter wants? Only in Binah. Yeah?
I mean, that's where you'd start to see, but really you'd see it after Malchut. Before that,
No, but on those levels, the expansion is happening already in Binah. If you're listening to intellectual concept, and the rabbi is only using Chokhmah, or the teacher, the professor, whatever, you can't understand it. It's like Shlomo Melech. If you read Koheles, very short statement, it's very hard to understand. But if he starts to elaborate, that's Binah. The moment he starts to elaborate, it's not Chokhmah anymore, it's Binah.
Said Shlomo Melech in Kohelet said, just to give you a dogma like what you said right now, כל הנחלים זורמים לים והים אינו מלא. אני, לפי הפילוסופיה שלי, הנחלים זורמים לים והים אינו מלא. הים אינו מלא זה המוח שלך. אתה יכול ללמוד מכל המקומות, מכל הדברים, ותמיד יש עוד מקום מה ללמוד.
But it says, the Shlomo Melech had 3,000 mishalim, 3,000 analogs.
The Kohelet,
Right. So I'm just saying that your interpretation might be right. It also makes sense, but there's tremendous amount of interpretation on every pasuk. So why Shlomo HaMelech did it in such a way that it's open to interpretations? He could have said, here's my statement, and this is what I mean by it, period. This is what I mean.
and Chadas Mitzvah Hashemayim. This
Right.
is a move.
Right. He could have said, this is what it means. Right? He would explain it, but he didn't.
Right.
That's chokhmah. That's chokhmah. That it's short, concise, and you have to figure it out. You have to use binah. You have to use the power of binah. Hashem gave us chokhmah, and He also gave us binah. Chokhmah is the idea. You get an idea. Oh, I think I can figure it out this way. Or I think I can figure it out this way. But then, when you come to actuality, you have to use binah. You have to use your intellect to try to explain it, figure it out. That is actually bringing it down. But the point over here that he's trying to tell us, the keter, atik, is primarily manifested in binah. So by Hashem adding to Avraham the letter Hey, is really giving him binah. And what is really giving him? Access to atik. Because atik is revealed in binah. The keter, the ratzon of Hashem, is revealed. The will of Hashem. When you say keter, means ratzon, the will. Ratzon is the drive for everything. Every level has ratzon. Everything has ratzon. Why somebody is doing something? Because he wants something. Why does he want something? Sometimes he doesn't know. It's deep inside him. He wants it. Right? So Avraham Avinu is getting access to Hashem's will. In Kabbalistic terminology, Atik is receiving Binah, and what is Binah? Access to Atik.
So all of those things that you're saying is so Abraham understood God perfectly.
It says about the Avot, Shmi Hashem lo nodati lahem. So there's levels that were only exposed later to Moshe Rabbeinu. But Avraham Avinu, when he gets this mission, Hashem this is the first shlichut, first mission. Look at the Torah introduces Avraham Avinu in last week Parsha. That Avraham Avinu was born to Terach. That's it. And the Parsha ends off, Vayamat Terach becharan. Terach dies in Haran. That's it. Now Avraham Avinu is already 75 years old. First time he's introduced in the Torah, and Hashem is telling him, lech lecha. Now, if I send you on a trip, I have to give you something for the road. You need to have food with you, you need to have money with you, whatever it is, you need to have something with you. What is Hashem giving Avraham Avinu? He's giving him the letter Hey. He said, right. So he said, your name is not going to be anymore Avram, which represented Av Chokhmah. Av is Abba Chokhmah, and Ram is a level that is above revelation. He says, now you're going to reveal yourself. How you are going to reveal yourself? Two ways. Number one, the letter Hey, and number two, you have to circumcise.
But Odapam, give you Chokhmah, it's physical?
No, Chokhmah it's not touchable. Can you touch Chokhmah? You can't. We can't touch Chokhmah.
When you're using it, it's like touching it. When you're using it.
But Chokhmah is there. Chokhmah is there whether you use it or not. Meaning,
you give me some tool, something, and you give me the Chokhmah. And you said it a long time ago that the professor will give you.
no. If I show you something, if I show you how to do something, I'm giving you binah. I'm giving you that.
Right.
The Chokhmah is the guy who figured it out, right? But I'm saying Chokhmah is even deeper. Chokhmah is something that we all have, whether we use or not. It's our choice. The Rambam writes that there is no such a thing as someone that is stupid. According to the Rambam, everybody in the world have curiosity. Curiosity is the tool that leads us to wisdom. Meaning, the reason why we learn is because we're curious. We're curious to know. We want to know this, we want to know that. So we all learn. So the Rambam writes that a person that is Kisil, what's the difference between Kisil and Chacham? Said one guy is Kesil, which means
He
it's
doesn't
not.
use the Chokhmah.
And one guy he says no. He says he uses it, but he uses it for other things that are unimportant.
Oh.
So you can, if you ask a guy about, I don't know, a guy likes baseball, and he mentions all the players, and he mentions their ages, their wives, all their records. So he has tremendous amount of information in his head. You can't say they're stupid. His mind is now captured information, and he has that information. He can spit it out with his eyes closed, right? You say, can you say a guy's stupid? No, he knows numbers, he knows information, he can even analyze the game. His mind is analytic. He's now figuring out who is going to do this and who is going to do that and what's their next move. We can't say the guy's stupid, but his curiosity is being used for something that is not conducive, something that is not important.
I heard a song that came up yesterday. I hadn't heard it in years. When I was a little kid, last time I heard it. But I knew all the lyrics to the song. I haven't heard it in so long. But this is apparently what I spent my time doing, is learning lyrics to songs instead of memorizing Torah and everything. So people know thousands of songs, they don't even realize they listen to the radio all the time.
But that's also another aspect, that what you learn in your youth, it's something that remains with you. And on top of it, if it's being remembered as a song, you will even remember it more. And if it was a movie, you would even remember it more, because a movie, it's visual, it's something that you see, so it's engraved in your mind even more. But the point is, to your question, Chokhmah is something physical or spiritual. Obviously, Chokhmah is not something that it's touchable. We can't touch the Chokhmah. There's no mamashut in it. You can't touch it and say, oh, you see 5 kids and you say, this is Chacham, this is Tipesh. No, they have to let them speak. You have to see how they behave, how they interact, how they use it. Then we can determine. But the Chokhmah itself is something that is not touchable. Anything that is not touchable, we call it spiritual. But it's not per se spiritual, because you have it in your mind. You have the fact that intelligence is not something that we can touch, right? Intelligence is something that either you have and you use, or you don't have and you don't use. But every single person in the world can teach us something, right? The Mishnah says you can learn from every person, meaning that they have. No, what you're saying is that there's no limit to what you can learn. There's no.
There's no limit in your mind.
Right, to your capacity, right?
More. There's space.
Right. But I'm saying that right. I'm saying that wisdom is something that is not touchable, but per se, can we say that it's completely spiritual? It's a human being possesses it. A human being has it. But every person has chokhmah, and every person has binah. A person has that. But Hashem is introducing Avraham Avinu to obviously higher levels, that he can really bring to the world, introduce to the world the will of God. Right? Bring the binah to the world. He's now getting binah, and he can bring it down. So we mentioned this pasuk, ve'avad levi hu, and the Zohar said that hu da atika. Who is referencing to atik. Ve'hainu shehu omez lebchinat bina. And who is referencing not only to atik, but also to bina. And regarding to this, the Zohar says, da atika, why? Because bina has the revelation of atik. And this is the added advantage that was given to Avraham. When he received the letter, hey, ki chokhmah nikret Eden. Remember, we say Gan Eden. So there's the garden and there's the Eden. It's two different things, right? So he says chokhmah is called Eden. Ve'ein sham mitgalut atik. In Eden, there is no revelation of atik. There's no revelation of ratzon. Why? Ki atik hu mekor hatanugim, because atik is the source of the light. V'tanug hu lemala min chokhmah, and the light is higher than chokhmah, and that's why you will see that people will be willing, for pleasure, not to use their mind, not to use chokhmah, because tanug is higher than chokhmah.
You know, I think you use your mind more to avoid pain and unpleasantness than to.
They said two things: to avoid the pain and pursue pleasure.
Yeah, those are the two drives, but it's more like to avoid pain.
Depends what age.
True.
It depends what age.
I guess I'm getting to the point where I like to avoid pain.
Yeah. The pleasure, it says that in certain ways the Yetzer Hara is being weakened. So the older you become, the Yetzer Hara is becoming weakened in certain ways. At least, so yeah. So Chokhmah is called Eden. It says we see with he describes the whole thing. Explains that when someone has epiphany, enlightenment, an idea,
Revelation.
yeah, Bechinat HaChokhmah, he can have excitement. He gets excitement from the chidush that he has in his mind. He got an idea, right? So in Chokhmah itself, there is a revelation of oneg, of delight. It says, and that's why Chokhmah is called the Eden, that referencing to Tanug, to delight. Nevertheless, but Tanug amurgash b'koch Chokhmah, the light that you have within the Chokhmah, you have the idea, now you have excitement. You don't have Mekora Tanug, you don't have the source of the light. You get some delight with it, but it's not it. It's not the source of it. It's not the whole thing. It's not the atik. Ki Tanug shehu Tanug mukpar. It says the delight that comes within Chokhmah is limited delight. It said about Rabbi Zera, there's Rabbi Zera, that it says Tzavu Panam. That he would give an explanation that was very, expensive, broad explanation, and his face would become radiated, like he would suddenly understand new things that would come to his mind. His face become yellow, or like he would see on his face. So we see that Chokhmah, it goes along with Tanug, but he explains that there is only a limited amount of Tanug in Chokhmah, of the light in Chokhmah. Mekor Tanugim is not revealed. The source of the light is not revealed in Chokhmah. כי התענוג שהוא תענוג מוגבל. שהרי התענוג הוא מתחדשות ההשכלה. Why he has תענוג? Because he got something, he had a new idea. ובהכרח שיהיה מוגבל לפי ערך עניין השכלי. So it has to be limited according to the intellect that you receive. You got an idea, a certain idea, so you have excitement according to that idea. But the moment that you used it, whatever it is, it comes. Or the amount of tanuk is according to the chokhmah. Okay? But on the other hand, the delight in Keter is delight that is not comprised, meaning it's not dependent on any kind of intellectual idea or any kind of. It's not dependent on chokhmah. So therefore, Mekor Tanugim, the source of delight, is being revealed in Atik, in Ratzon. It says, Chokhmah itself is a dat. And Adain lo ba lidei gilu, it's still not revealed. So how is it being revealed? What's in Chokhmah? Ki im al yedei bina nekuda beichol. Keva tesei v'gover shemekabel zoras atika. He says, being revealed through Bina. So the Tanug that we spoke about is the light that we discussed. The source of the light is not revealed in Chokhmah, but in Bina it reveals itself. Even the light that is within Atik can be revealed in Bina. So not only that Bina reveals what Chokhmah had in a concealed way, Bina is revealing it, but Bina also has a special power that Chokhmah doesn't have, that comes directly from Atik. So when the intellect that Chokhmah had is now revealed in Bina. It's grasped in Bina. And the Bina is concealing the intellect, but revealing the whole idea. Sometimes you need to highlight 2 or 3 words from a whole sentence. That's the chokhmah of it. And the rest is just the dressing, right? Explanation for the idea itself. So he writes that Abina mastira et Torah haskala. Abina hides the intellect. Once there's explanations and analogies and so on and so forth, the depth is not noticeable. Like you take, like we say, we use Koheles as an example. So you use a statement of Shlomo Melech, and you explain it, and they say, well, it makes sense. It's not, I don't see where it doesn't seem like anything is a genius. There's no genius over here. Where's the genius here? But when you say this whole thing, this whole wisdom in 3 words, the genius is right there. But once you explain it and you break it down to so many pieces, the chokhmah is not revealed. Right? So it sounds like, okay, fine, we understand it, but it's broken down. But when it's in 1 word or in 3 words, then it's you know that there's something there.
Well, if the tree falls to the left or to the right, there it will be.
Right. Obviously, where do you think? Where else would it be? Right.
It's great.
So where does this power come? He says the power that Bina has to conceal the Chokhmah is because of its supernal root. The Zohar calls Bina a dot in a chamber. That's how the Zohar called Bina. Nekuda be'echolo. A dot in a chamber. Meaning that Bina surrounds the dot of wisdom from all its corners and hides it like a chamber that hides what it contains. So in order to take the wisdom that is not understood and to bring it down, he has to cover that. He has to hide the wisdom for it, meaning to put it away. That's what the analogies are doing, right? The analog comes and he speaks about other things. And now you can try to figure out what they want from you.
Right. Like pregnancy, it sounds like, like being a mother.
Yeah. Actually, pregnancy is also a similar idea to Bina. That takes the dot and it expands it. And then he writes also something about Bina. It says that in the time of Mashiach, Nekeva Teserev Gever, meaning that the female, which is the recipient, will be the one to be higher than the male, the masculine. Nekeva is the makabel, is the recipient. In our subject, the Bina is the recipient from Chokhmah. Right? Bina is receiving from Chokhmah. There is advantage to Bina in its root over Chokhmah. Similarly, female in its root is higher than the giver. And that's why it says Nekeva Teserev Gover. That's why Bina has the power of surrounding itself around Chokhmah and concealing the Chokhmah. On a simple level, it means that the female will surround the male, like the kala goes 7 times around the bride, right? In the chuppah, the female surrounds it. It means that she has in her root level that is higher than the male. To our subject, it surrounds the chokhmah and it conceals it. Another point the Chokhmah has is the supernal root of Chokhmah, of Bina. Another point that Bina has, the supernal roots of Bina, is tapping into Atik, as we said before, and because of that, the Tainug Atzmi, which is the essence of the light, is being revealed. Not limited to the light according to your intellect, according to your understanding, according to the epiphany that you had. It says, no, this is the Tainug, the way it is in Atik, being revealed in Bina. The ability to bring down something lofty that now it's enclosed in simple things, and that the light would shine in them also, it's through a higher power. Meaning that the higher it is, the lower it can go. Right? We learned this concept many times. So when he's capable of traveling further down, we can see his greatness.
That's a shlichus?
So this is actually an interpretation of the Mital Rebbe, where he says that we had a question, is Avraham Avinu descending or ascending?
Right.
Because he was Av, Chokhmah, and Ram, something that is hidden, concealed, above revelation, and now Hashem is adding the Hey, and go to your land, I'll show you, and he has to reveal it. So he has to bring these levels down. So Avraham Avinu is being raised, or he's descending. What's happening over here? So the Mital Rebbe is telling us that actually, obviously he's benefiting from it. He will benefit from it, but it also shows his greatness, because the higher you are, the lower you can go. So since now Avraham Avinu has the Bina in him, he has the Hey that was added to his name, he's capable of bringing these revelations to
a higher level,
to a lower level, which shows that he is connected to a higher level. So he's bringing it to a lower level, which shows us that he is promoted. He is now on a higher level. Up till now, he wasn't ready for lech lecha.
Yeah.
But now he's capable of lech lecha because of the added bina to him. So the fact that he is capable of going down shows that he is now on a higher level. It's like if a professor has all the knowledge, but he can't give it away. What value does it have? So Avraham Avinu now, imagine a professor that is unable to teach, but suddenly is gifted with the ability to teach. So it shows that he's on a higher level. The professor now is on a higher level than before. It's not that added knowledge was given to him, but now he knows how to present it. He has the ability to give it out. So Avraham Avinu also is receiving, obviously the Avdil, but he's receiving now the capabilities of bringing it down, which really shows that he was promoted, he was uplifted. We'll continue, God willing, tomorrow.
I was just looking at the sentence and trying to look at the sentence, the interpretation of it.
But I saw some recently that's interesting, a light bulb, an incandescent light bulb, right? The original light bulb, the one that has a little